Good evening, and welcome to the 12th edition of Tata Literature Live, the Mumbai International Lit Fest 2021, co-sponsored by Tata Steel and Tata Projects and powered by Godrej. As Jane Austen said, this is an evening of wonders indeed. And what a wonder it is to get to meet 145 speakers from 19 countries over 4 whole days, to get to hear 9 different languages spoken, talking about everything under the sun, all right here in your living room on your digital screen. COVID-19 be damned, I say. The show must go on after all. To have our brains sparked by the sizzling conversations, and what sparks they were. I will share the gems from our authors as tonight's event goes on. To start it off, here's a gem from Matthew Weiner. I never carry Disney scripts on a plane in case they think I'm carrying a bomb. With that, I'd like to bring us back to what we're here for today, to commemorate the works of authors in fiction, non-fiction, and business categories. This is the Tata Literature Live Literary Awards 2021. It gives me great pleasure to invite author, columnist, marketer, and brand custodian at Tata Sons, Harish Bhatt. Over to you, Mr. Bhatt.
Thank you, Ratnabali. This is such a special evening for all of us at Tata Literature Live. The Tata Literature Live Awards aim to recognize literary talent across many different genres of writing. Firstly, on behalf of the Tata Group, may I offer heartiest congratulations to all the writers who are with us today, who have made it to the shortlist of the Tata Literature Live Awards this year. Your commendable work, the inspiration that you provide other writers and other readers, deserves to be celebrated. My best wishes to all of you who are winners here tonight. When the curtains come down, or when whatever is the digital equivalent of curtains come down, we are reaching the end this evening of a spectacular edition of Tata Literature Live. I'd like to thank the audiences for the overwhelming response we have received to the festival over the past few days. Right from the inaugural session, which saw Mr. Amitav Ghosh participate, to sessions like Dr. Steven Pinker's Straight Talk on Rationality, Harsh Mariwala and Peter Casey talking about why philanthropy and social responsibility is such an essential attribute of organizations, Amish and Ashwin's take on what's next for Indian fiction, the launch of the graphic novel this afternoon on Lady Meherbai Tata, the Lifetime Achievement Award presented to Ms. Anita Desai, and the Poet Laureate Award being presented to Mr. Adil Jusawala. These and many other sessions stand out in my mind, and I am sure all of you have enjoyed them enormously. But my thanks is, wholehearted thanks is for the audiences who have made this year's festival a great success once again, and the 145 speakers, writers, thinkers, and artists who have given of their time generously to be here. It's your presence and participation which makes this festival so special. I cannot end without thanking Amy Fernandez, Quasar, Vivek, Mehul, and everyone from the festival organizing team, and also Atul Agarwal and Jaya Sapkale from Tata Sons, for bringing together this stellar lineup of speakers and conducting the festival so impeccably well. We hope the audience found the festival enriching and enjoyed being a part of the festival virtually. Thank you. Please stay with us for the rest of this evening, and all the very best to the shortlisted writers who are here today. Thank you, Ratnabali, and back to you.
Thank you, Mr. Bhatt. I would now like to invite Festival Director Amy Fernandez to please say a few words.
Thank you, Ratnabali. Good evening, everyone. It would be impossible for anyone to step into the shoes of a man like Anil Dharkar, but the festival must go on. And going by the messages and texts we've received from our viewers, I think Anil and Shashi would be very happy today. What's a festival without an audience? All 750,000 of them as of this afternoon. So thank you, dear viewers, for being such an engaging audience, for sending in your comments, your questions, your words of encouragement and support. I'd like to thank our speakers, all 140 of them, from 18 countries around the world. Thank you not just for your great literature, but also for sharing your thoughts with us. The diverse topics from science to literature, from art to history, from hope to economics, they've been so well received that people who've missed some of the sessions have been asking us whether they can catch them later. And the answer is yes. Please go to our Tata Literature Live YouTube channel to catch all the sessions you've missed. I'd like to thank our partners, the Tata Group, particularly Harish Bhatt, Atul Agrawal, and Jaya Sapkale for their continued support. And to our friends/sponsors for being there with us through these rocky times. So to Godrej and Kotak, to Heikel and Hafele, to Rosa Godrej, to Shore Maribala and Jakes, thank you. And to all the others I may have missed, thank you for your support. I appreciate it. And last but not the least, a big applause to the small group of Tata Literature Live team. They, for the sheer love of literature, have put this fabulous festival together. So thank you, Quasar, Reena, Shireen, Tina, Sumana, Antoine, and Sahil. Thank you also to the ever-efficient QTP team and to Mehul's team. As we come to the close and to the grand finale of the festival, the awards, I want to wish everyone a future filled with more happiness and health than we can hope for, and above all, a wealth of great literature to come. So thank you, and we will see you next year.
Thank you so much for that, Amy Fernandez. May I please request you to now present the first award of this evening, Publisher of the Year. Over to you, Ms. Fernandez.
The Publisher of the Year award is a very special one for us at Tata Literature Live. This year, the winner has a wide range of work in every category. And I'm happy to announce that the winner of the Tata Literature Live Publisher of the Year award goes to HarperCollins. Congratulations.
Congratulations, HarperCollins. We have Amrita Mukherjee on behalf of HarperCollins with us tonight. Would you like to say a few words, Ms. Mukherjee?
Hi, yes, I would like to thank everyone, the Tata Little Life Awards on behalf of the entire team at HarperCollins. This is a huge honor for us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Amrita Mukherjee. And thank you, Ms. Fernandez, for presenting that award. And congratulations, HarperCollins.
Ratnabali, if I can also add, this is Udayan, I'm executive publisher at HarperCollins. And so just to add to what Amrita said,
Yes.
wanted to congratulate everyone who has been publishing through this very difficult time, all publishers. Absolutely. And congratulations to all readers for being there for us. And that has made all the difference. Thank you so much. Thank you for this award.
Absolutely. You said it. If it weren't for the readers, where would we be? All right. Thank you so much. Now, moving on. Here's another gem for you that I said that I was going to share. Petitions need more blood than love letters. Oh, what a poignant statement Sabika Abbas Naqvi made. And in fact, her session was absolutely fantastic. Moving on now, the Tata Literature Live Business Book of the Year Award, which recognizes the best business writing in the Indian literary space. The jury for this award was Chairman and CEO of KPMG, Arun Kumar, Strategic Leader, Influence, Coach and former Director of Tata Management Training Center, Emmanuel David, Professor of Economics and Director of IIM Ahmedabad, Errol D'Souza, business journalist, author and founder of She the People TV, Shaili Chopra, and corporate leader, entrepreneur and co-founder of Salt, a financial services app focused on women, Shinjini Kumar. I would now like to invite Shaili Chopra to please present the award, Tata Literature Live Business Book of the Year. Over to you, Ms. Chopra.
Thank you very much. It was indeed a pleasure to be part of this jury, especially since it gave me the great opportunity to read many business books after a long time. having spent nearly 18 years as the face of business journalism. It was a good refresher course of a lot of stuff that I had missed. Big congratulations to the entire team here at Tata Lit Live, particularly the portions that I experienced, which is being a part of the jury, the deliberations, and the very, very tough task of coming up with the top nominations. So without much ado, if I may just take you through the 3 nominees for the Tata Literature Live Business Book of the Year. Number 1 is Fossil Free, Reimagining Clean Energy in a Carbon-Constrained World by Sumant Sinha. It was interesting to read this book, Sumant, having seen your journey from traditional corporate to serious entrepreneurship. Very well articulated indeed, and an insightful book that comes in such times when we are grappling with energy at various levels and rethinking it. It certainly looks at exploring, as the title says, clean energy with a realistic perspective, not one that leaves us wondering how we're going to make this happen. So that's the first of the 3 nominees. The second book, that's The Great Indian Banking Tragedy by Tamal Bandhopadhyay. A strong book that captured many untold stories behind the scenes, the Indian banking and financial sector. I would say the good, bad, and the ugly. Telling us what the rot in the system has been, and perhaps making it slightly easier for the lay reader to understand how this entire piece works like clockwork at the back. The third nominee, Spring, Bouncing Back from Rejection by Ambi Parameswaran. The book, of course, for me was a very powerful read. It also pushed me to think harder, and it told us about things that we face pretty much every day. Nonetheless, it put lots of business context on rejection and looking at yourself as a successful powerhouse by coming face to face with your challenges. Now time for the winner. The hardest task, and I don't know why they selected me from this jury to make this happen. The winner is The Great Indian Banking Tragedy by Tamal Bandhopadhyay, Pandemonium. Congratulations, Tamal. Another big feather in your cap with this banking book once again.
On behalf of Roli Books and Tamal Da, I just want to say we are so happy. Thank you so much to the Tata Lit Fest team and the jury. And I also just want to say that we all miss Anil and Shashi a lot, but all of you have done a fantastic job, and this makes it all the more special. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Shaili Chopra. And congratulations, Tamal Bandhopadhyay. Moving on. Did you happen to catch this gem in this festival? I quote, "I've never been scared of anything. That's what I would like to tell my young listeners. Don't be scared of anything." Dolly Tagore. What excellent advice for first-timers, which brings me to the next award. First Book Award, Non-Fiction, which recognizes new talent in the Indian literary space in the non-fiction genre. The jury for the non-fiction category comprised of author and journalist Amrita Shah, author and journalist Dilip D'Souza, author and professor of political thought at JNU, Nivedita Menon, independent director and former managing director of Voltas and Reader's Digest, Sanjay Johri, and writer, filmmaker, and committee member, Tata Literature Live, Tina Nagpal. And now to present this award, I would like to invite Amrita Shah. Over to you, Ms. Shah.
Good evening. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Tata Lit Live. And yes, I joined with the others in saying we miss Anil and Sashi, but you've done such a wonderful job, Amy and your team. The kind of opportunity to judge this very rich trove of contemporary writing, which we had the luck of as non-fiction jurors. I'm happy to report that there were no major battles, nothing that was kind of very harmful. We disagreed, of course, as all opinionated people would, but we fought for our favorites, but we also, I think, came to quite an amicable conclusion, quite painlessly, I think. The category of best first book non-fiction, I think it is a very brave or a very foolhardy thing to write any book, to embark on any book project, but particularly non-fiction, because research is prohibitively expensive, the outcome is so uncertain, And yet there is a compelling need to address issues of our times, which you can see just from the range of issues covered in this year alone by various authors in this category. Unfortunately, since there are so few sources of support in India, this one is very grateful to Tata Literature for awarding a prize for Best First Book in Non-Fiction to encourage writers to take the leap and to persevere. So to come to the shortlist for the Best First Book, Non-Fiction, in alphabetical order are, the first book is Breathing Here is Injurious to Your Health by Jyoti Pandey Lavakre. Now, you would not expect to read a book on pollution with pleasure, but this book, for me at least, it combined extensive research with passionate activism and the author's personal concerns as a daughter and a mother. It made for a very touching and human appeal while communicating the urgency to this critical issue, which, just the last few weeks have shown us these terrible pictures from Delhi, and you know how urgent this is. The second book is It's All in Your Head, M by Manjari Indurkar. This book is about a young girl facing early trauma and sexual abuse in a small town. It's not an uncommon story, but the visceral honesty with which the author follows her trajectory, her battles with body shaming, anxiety, and depression, and her evolution into a more fulfilling and self-assured woman is a warm and life-affirming account. The third book is Landscapes of Loss, the story of an Indian drought by Kavita Iyer. This book is about the drought-prone region of Marathwada in Maharashtra, which has seen a surge in farmer suicide in the last decade. Again, a hard and significant subject, which the author delves into with thoroughness, but also with a great deal of empathy and an eye for beauty in the people, the landscape, and provides a window into the agrarian crisis in the country. And again, we've just had this great debate on farm laws, and this is an important category, and for people doing this for the first time, it need to be applauded. And I think that each and everyone in this category needs to be applauded. But the winner is Landscapes of Loss, the story of an Indian drought by Kavita Iyer. I feel like I should hear applause, but congratulations, Kavita, and to the others as well.
Thank you so much, Amrita. Thank you, everyone else on the jury. Thank you, Tata Lit Live, all the organizers. Thank you also to my publisher and especially my editor, Sadesh, who has been such a guide and a friend over the last couple of years. It's not an easy time to be writing. It's already such an isolating experience to write, and to have to write in the middle of a global pandemic has not been easy. And I commend all the others who are on the long list and the short list for having been able to do it. I did read most of those on the long list, and all splendid works, and I congratulate each and every one of you. I also mostly want to thank the jury for backing a book about farmers, about Indian farmers. Landscapes of Loss was always meant to be a tribute to my farmer friends who I met over the years, who I befriended and who shared their stories with me. And I'm just back yesterday from Delhi, where India's farm struggle is poised at such a critical moment. And I really want to thank the agrarian community for letting me in and for sharing their stories of inspiration and grit and determination, and simply for letting me tell their stories. This is really for all of them. And thank you to the jury for backing this particular subject. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Amrita Shah. And congratulations, Kavita Iyer. Thank you for writing such an important book for our times. Here's another memorable line that was spoken in this fest. The drive to write doesn't come from literature, it comes from life. Peter Stamm. Moving on to the next award, Tata Literature Live First Book Fiction, which recognizes new talent in the Indian literary space in the fiction genre. The jury for the fiction category comprised of poet, author, journalist, and curator Arundhati Subramaniam, author, editor, and columnist Geeta Hariharan, author, columnist, and professor Shashi Warrior, professor of English Literature, Wilson College, Mumbai, Vinita Matthew, and communications professional and committee member, Tata Literature Live, Shireen Mistry. I would now like to invite Vinita Matthew to please present this award. Over to you, Ms. Matthew.
Thank you, Ratnabali. On behalf of the jury that we all worked with, I'm very delighted to present the shortlist for the first book fiction for this year. The first book is A Bit of Everything by Sandeep Raina. This novel is a powerful and descriptive narrative of memory and exile against an intricately woven background of deep tragedy and loss in Kashmir. This is a deeply evocative story of a land and a people torn apart for various reasons, political and personal. The second book we have on our shortlist is A Death in Sonagachi by Rijula Das. This is an intensely gripping tale of a crime and an investigation, and it's set against the dark side of the city of Kolkata. And yet at the same time, it is a story that is luminous with redeeming touches of love and hope and a final sense of justice. The third book is Gods and Ends by Lindsay Pereira. This wonderful novel just pulls you into the Goan Catholic community of Orlim Malad, and you're compelled to stay with its engaging and fascinating characters that amuse you and bewilder you. And yet they are absolutely wonderful in the way that they manage to take you through their cycles of hope and disappointment. This was in fact a very, very absorbing and unforgettable novel. And now I'm very happy to announce the winner for this evening. The first book award for fiction, this decision was unanimous and undisputed. And the winner for the first book of fiction for 2021 is A Death in Sonagachi by Rijula Das. Congratulations, Rijula Das.
Thank you. That's amazing. I in fact, did not expect to win, I have to say. And I'm also a little bit superstitious, so I also did not prepare a speech. But I'm so glad that it just turned out this way. Thank you so much, Tata Lit Live. And I want to thank the team, especially the tech people, the logistics people, bringing together everybody across a festival like this is a humongous task. And I just think that all our unsung heroes who've been doing this from their homes, managing their lives, just deserve a big thank you. Thank you for doing this. We all know that the space for literature in global crises like this keeps shrinking. So it's just a great amount of hope for all of us, especially people who are just embarking on our writing journeys, on our writing careers at this point of time, to have awards like this. And the other thank you goes to the people of Sonagachi. I wrote this book over 7 years, and it's been a lesson in humanity, a crash course in how to be a human over the 7 years, just talking to people who've made this book possible. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Vinita Matthew. And congratulations once again, Rijula Das. And now, a quote from one of the sessions that resonated quite deeply with me. What you read informs who you become. This was said by Meera Rajagopalan. Which brings me to the next award, Tata Literature Live 2021, Book of the Year, NonFiction. To present the award, I would like to invite author and journalist and jury member, Dilip D'Souza. Over to you, Mr. D'Souza.
Good evening. Of course, it's a cliche that all judges use, that it was a difficult choice, and to make a choice among all these deserving candidates, you've heard that drill, I'm sure, and you don't want to hear it from me. But I really had the distinct pleasure of watching this cliche actually come to life over the last few months in this job that Lit Live gave me. This is a truly terrific shortlist, the books that you will see on screen shortly. But in fact, I also want to mention that the other 3 books on our long list, Hari Pulakat's Space Life Matter, Samrat Chaudhary's Braided River, and Kavita Rao's Lady Doctors, these were super books too that I urge all of you to read. But here's our shortlist. Number 1, again in alphabetical order, is Ghazala Wahab's Born a Muslim. This is an unsparing, heartfelt account of exactly that, born a Muslim, what it is to be born Muslim and grow up Muslim in India. It's eye-opening, it's real, and it's truly heartbreaking. Number two is Sonia Shah's The Next Great Migration, which is really science journalism at its finest. It's sharp, provocative, well-researched, and beautifully, beautifully written. This is a book that belongs up there with Jared Diamond and Mark Reisner, and I don't say that lightly at all. And number three is Ashish Khetan's Undercover. This is the work of a remarkable journalist and his remarkable journey into a world of hate, bigotry, and violence. It left me chilled to my bones, and I don't say that lightly either. But while I'd love to give all three of these books this award, or in fact, all six on the long list, of course, we can have only one winner. That's a pity, but it's really also my great pleasure to tell you that the 2021 Tata Literature Live Book of the Year is Ghazala Wahab's Born a Muslim: Some Truths About Islam in India. Congratulations, Ghazala.
May I request you to please unmute yourself?
Thank you so much, Dilip. Thank you, Tata Lit Live. Thank you, everybody who made this book possible. This has been an unusual book, and I am saying this because the role of the writer in this book has just been that of a chronicler of stories which were told to me by people, chronicler of events, chronicler of everything that has been happening in this country post-independence. So I think my job was that of a person who just took notes and regurgitated them. So thank you so much for supporting this, for backing this, for seeing through what was written and seeing beyond what was written. I would also like to thank my publishers for, supporting this idea, standing by this idea, and making this book as big as they did. Since I'm thanking, so a short expression of gratitude to people who believed in this book, even when it was at a conceptual stage. So I'd like to thank my colleague and a dear friend, Praveen Sahani. I'd like to thank my parents and my sister, who, I don't know, despite not being a very prolific reader, but saw through it. So thank you, everybody. And thank you eventually to the readers who have read this and given it so much of love.
Thank you so much for that, Dilip D'Souza. And congratulations, Ghazala Wahab. We hope that you get to write more such unusual books, because boy, do we need to read them or what. And now, for the final award of the evening, the Tata Literature Live 2021 Book of the Year, Fiction. To present this award, I would now like to invite poet, author, journalist, curator, and jury member, Arundhati Subramaniam. Over to you, Ms. Subramaniam.
Thank you, Ratna. I'm just delighted to be here, and I want to say it's very good to be back at Tata Lit Live. I was part of the jury many years ago, and it's been a wonderful opportunity to read some of the finest fiction that's been out this year. We had a particularly conscientious and very attentive jury, and our final discussion was happily quarrelsome, but actually we were able to arrive at a consensus despite the many diverse opinions that we started with. We have some wonderful books on the shortlist. This was not an easy decision to arrive at. The first book on the shortlist is Ashoka, a Sutra by Erwin Allen Seeley, published by Penguin Random House. This is an elegant, subtle, and complex exploration of the life of the fascinating Mauryan emperor, Ashoka. It is masterful in the sweep of its storytelling and its ability to weave the big picture of a self-assured civilization with the intimate portrait of a man who is fallible, chronically self-doubting, and exceptional all at once. The second book on the shortlist is China Room by Sanjeev Sahota, also published by Penguin Random House. This intense and compelling narrative follows two characters seeking autonomy, agency, and selfhood across generations and continents. One, a young woman seeking freedom from the oppressive domestic constraints of rural Punjab in the 1920s, and the other, a young diasporic Indian seeking to make his peace with a fractured history of violence and cultural dislocation. And the third book on the shortlist is Names of the Women by Jeet Thayil, a poetic, moving, and luminous narrative that combines simplicity with gravitas. This is a quietly radical reimagining of the New Testament. It offers us the lives of 15 women who knew and loved Jesus, women who are shadowy, near forgotten, women who stayed with Jesus through the ordeal of the crucifixion, women who lived and embodied his truth in their own diverse and inspirational ways. It's also published by Penguin Random House. And the winner, the award for the Tata Literature Live Book of the Year Fiction 2021 is Ashoka, a Sutra by Irwin Allen Seeley. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Mr. Irwin Allen Seeley. I believe we have Mansi on behalf of Mr. Seeley over here to speak for him.
Oh, I thought Alan was here himself, but thank you so much. This is such an incredible honor. And it is such a fantastic book. I am so delighted that Ashoka has been given this award. And thank you so much. It's an incredible long list, a wonderful short list, and we really appreciate that the award has come to Ashoka.
That's great. Mr. Irwin Allen Seeley, are you here and would you like to say a few words? I believe he's having some technical issues. Well, all right. A writer's fuel is willpower. This was said by none other than Mr. Seeley in his session earlier today. Congratulations on winning the Tata Literature Live 2021 Book of the Year Fiction, Irwin Allen Seeley. And that brings us to the end of this year's Tata Literature Live. A massive thanks to Tata Projects and Tata Steel for making this festival possible, and to Godrej for powering it, allowing the world to connect and immerse ourselves in the giddy world of literature in the time of a pandemic. As our founder Anil Dharkar had said last year, during the pandemic and the resultant lockdown and the isolation that was forced on us, and the isolation that was forced on so many millions of people all over the world, who were our closest companions? Our best friends? The ever-present source of comfort? Why, books, of course. And vindication of what dear Mr. Dharkar said is the fact that this time, the viewership of this festival has crossed over 1.25 million views as of this afternoon. So by now, it would have shot across the sky. What better tribute could there be for Anil Dharkar and Shashi Maliga? We know you're smiling out there hearing that. Dear audience, thank you for your overwhelming support and participation. Once again, a big thanks to our partners, our consulates, our co-sponsors, Tata Projects and Tata Steel, and thanks to Godrej for powering us. I'm your MC, Ratnabali Bhattacharjee, signing off for the last time with one last quote from my favorite Groucho Marx. Outside of a dog, a book is man's best friend. Inside of a dog, it's too dark to read. Goodbye from Tata Literature Live 2021. See you in 2022.